Let me start with a very simple question. When was the last time you were truly happy? Not smiling for a photo, not laughing because you had to, but genuinely, peacefully, deeply happy. Take a moment, don't answer quickly, because most of us struggle with this question. Isn't it strange? We have more comforts than any generation before us. More technology, more information, more opportunities. Yet anxiety is rising. Loneliness is increasing. Peace is disappearing. We are surrounded by people, but starving for connection. We are busy all day, but restless at night. We lie down on our beds, scroll through our phones, and suddenly, silence hits us. And in that silence, a question whispers, is this what life is supposed to feel like? We thought happiness would come with success. It didn't. We thought happiness would come with relationships. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. We thought happiness would come after our problems end. But life had a different plan. Because challenges didn't ask for permission, they arrived uninvited. Failure came, heartbreak came, disappointment came, loss came, and suddenly happiness felt like a luxury, something meant for lucky people, not for us. But let me tell you something very gently. Happiness was never reserved for a problem-free life. Happiness was designed for a courageous heart, a heart that says, yes, life is difficult, but I refuse to let difficulty steal my joy. Today, we are not here to deny pain. We are not here to escape reality. We are here to learn something far more powerful. How to choose happiness, not after challenges end, but while walking through them. And that understanding begins now. Happiness. Such a small word, but such a heavy expectation. From childhood, we are taught one thing very clearly. Be successful, then you'll be happy. So we study hard, we compete, we compare, we sacrifice sleep, peace, and sometimes relationships. And when we finally reach one goal, happiness says, good, now reach the next one. It's like chasing a horizon. No matter how fast you run, it always feels one step away. And slowly, quietly, we make a dangerous deal with life. We say, I will delay happiness. Let me first fix everything. Let me first become someone. But happiness doesn't work on future promises. It lives only in the present moment. The truth is, many people don't want happiness. They want control, control over people, control over situations, control over outcomes. Because we believe, if everything goes my way, I'll be happy. But life doesn't go our way. Life goes its way. And this gap between expectation and reality is where suffering is born. You see, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain happens when life hits us. Suffering happens when we keep replaying that hit in our mind. One failure becomes, I am a failure. One rejection becomes, I am not enough. One mistake becomes, my life is ruined. And without realizing it, we stop living in the present and start living inside our wounds. We carry yesterday's pain into today's moments, and then we wonder why happiness feels heavy. Another misunderstanding is this. We think happiness means constant excitement, but excitement is loud. Happiness is quiet. Happiness is not fireworks every day. Happiness is the calm confidence that says, whatever comes, I'll handle it. In ancient wisdom, happiness was never defined as pleasure. It was defined as inner steadiness, a steady mind, a steady heart, a steady sense of self. Today our happiness is fragile because it is borrowed life trying to teach me. Challenges are not interruptions, they are instructions. They slow us down, they shake our ego, they question our priorities. They ask us, what truly matters to you? What truly makes you happy? And unless we pause and listen, we miss the lesson and repeat the pain. Many people say, I just want a peaceful life. But peace does not come from a silent world. It comes from a silent mind. A mind that understands, I cannot control everything, but I can control my response. And that understanding, that is the beginning of real happiness. Not the happiness that depends on applause, but the happiness that survives storms. This brings us to something very important. If happiness is not destroyed by challenges, then why do challenges affect us so deeply? Why do intelligent, capable, kind people feel stuck, anxious, unhappy? That question leads us directly to the heart of the issue. That is where we now go next. Let us go a little deeper. Most of us don't realize this, but the mind has a habit. It doesn't just experience pain, it stores it. A harsh word spoken years ago. A failure nobody remembers except you. A moment when you felt ignored, rejected, invisible. Life moved on. People moved on. But your mind didn't. And slowly, silently, these memories start shaping how we see the world. We stop seeing life as it is and start seeing life through our wounds. So when a challenge comes, it doesn't come alone. It brings all the past challenges with it. One small setback suddenly feels unbearable, not because it is big, but because it is heavy with history. This is why two people can face the same situation, yet react completely differently. One bends, one breaks. The difference is not strength, the difference is understanding. Happiness is not about having a strong body, it is about having a trained mind. But no one taught us how to train the mind. We were taught mathematics, we were taught science, we were taught how to earn a living. But nobody taught us how to deal with disappointment, how to sit with uncertainty, how to let go without becoming cold. So when life tests us, we don't fail because we are weak, we fail because we are unprepared. And then we blame ourselves. I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, something is wrong with me. But listen carefully, nothing is wrong with you. You are not broken, you are human. You feel deeply, you care sincerely, and that makes life intense. The problem is not sensitivity. The problem is lack of emotional wisdom. We think happiness means always feeling good, but maturity teaches us something different. Maturity teaches us that happiness is not about avoiding difficult emotions. It is about holding them gently. Just like a parent holds a crying child, not shouting, not ignoring, but understanding. In the same way, happiness begins when you stop fighting your emotions and start listening to them. Pain has a message, fear has a message, even sadness has a message. But we live in a world that says, be strong, don't cry, move on. So we suppress, we distract, we escape. Entertainment replaces reflection, noise replaces silence, busyness replaces awareness. And slowly we drift away from ourselves. That is why so many people feel lost. Even when life looks settled from outside, they did everything right. Yet something feels missing. That something is inner alignment. When your outer life grows faster than your inner life, stress is guaranteed. Let me say this slowly. If your outer success is higher than your inner strength, pressure will crush you. But if your inner strength is stronger than your outer challenges, peace will protect you. Happiness does not come from fixing life. It comes from understanding life. And understanding life requires stillness. Not the stillness of sitting in a forest, but the stillness of awareness, where you observe instead of react, where you pause before you panic, where you breathe before you break. And here is a very important realization. Life is not testing you to defeat you. Life is testing you to teach you. Every challenge asks a question. Can you respond with wisdom instead of impulse? Can you stay kind even when things go wrong? Can you trust yourself even when outcomes are uncertain? But if we believe happiness depends on comfort, then challenges feel like enemies. However, if we believe happiness depends on growth, then challenges become teachers, and teachers don't come to please us, they come to prepare us. Think about it. The strongest people you know, are they the ones who had an easy life? No. They are the ones who suffered, reflected, and refused to let suffering make them bitter. They became deeper, softer, wiser. They smile not because life is perfect, but because they understand imperfection. This is where happiness transforms from a feeling into a choice, a daily choice, a quiet choice, a brave choice, a choice that says, I will not wait for life to be fair, to be peaceful. I will not wait for everything to settle, to be joyful. I will learn to stand steady, even in storms. But before we can make that choice, we must be honest about what blocks us. And that requires courage, because now we must look at the real issue, not outside, but inside. Why do challenges affect us so deeply? Why does pain linger longer than it should? Why does happiness slip away so easily? To understand happiness, we must first understand what steals it. And that brings us very naturally to the next part of our journey. So far, we have understood this much. Happiness is not the absence of problems. Challenges are inevitable. The real struggle is internal, not external. Now we must face the uncomfortable truth. The truth about expectations. The truth about comparison. The truth about fear, ego, attachment, and identity. Because unless we identify the problem clearly, every solution remains temporary. Why life's challenges hurt us more than they should. Why smart, capable people feel unhappy. How our own thinking patterns create suffering. It will be honest, it will be intense, but it will also be liberating. Let us now talk honestly, not spiritually, not philosophically, but humanly. Because the real problem is not that life gives us challenges. The real problem is that we are emotionally untrained to face them. Life throws stones, but our mind turns them into mountains. Why? Because most of us are not reacting to the present moment. We are reacting to our interpretation of it, and interpretations are shaped by fear, ego, and past experiences. 1. The problem of expectations. Expectations are silent contracts we make with life, without life signing them. We expect people to understand us. We expect effort to be rewarded. We expect kindness to be returned. We expect life to be fair. And when these expectations are not met, we don't just feel disappointed. We feel betrayed. But pause for a moment. Did life promise fairness? Did people promise perfection? Or did we assume it? Expectation itself is not the enemy. Attachment to expectation is when expectations turn rigid, they become emotional demands. I did this, now you must do that. I behaved well, now life should reward me. I sacrificed, now I deserve happiness. And when reality refuses to cooperate, anger is born. Not anger at the situation, but anger at the gap between what is and what should have been. This gap is where happiness dies. 2. The problem of comparison. Comparison is one of the most poisonous habits of the human mind. We compare our struggles with someone else's success, our reality with someone else's presentation, our chapter 3 with someone else's chapter 20. And then we feel, I'm behind, I'm late, I'm failing. But comparison ignores one powerful truth. You don't know their inner battles, and they don't know yours. Yet comparison convinces us that everyone else is doing better, smiling more, living better, winning faster. And this creates a silent praise. Sure, a pressure to rush life. We stop enjoying growth, we stop honoring timing, we stop trusting our journey. Happiness cannot survive where comparison lives, because comparison turns life into a competition and happiness into a scoreboard. 3. The problem of identity. This one is very subtle and very dangerous. We don't just experience failure, we become the failure. We don't just lose a role, we lose our sense of worth. I am successful, I am needed, I am respected. And when life removes those labels, we feel empty because we built identity on performance. So when performance drops, self-worth collapses. But your value was never your role. Your value was never your achievements. Your value was never your productivity. You were valuable before you proved anything. But when identity is attached to outcomes, challenges feel like personal attacks, and then happiness feels fragile because it depends on how life treats us. 4. The problem of emotional avoidance. We live in a world that is uncomfortable with discomfort. So when pain comes, we distract. Phones, entertainment, work, noise, anything except sitting with ourselves. But unexpressed emotions don't disappear. They accumulate, they show up as irritability, exhaustion, anxiety, emotional numbness. We say, I don't know why I feel like this. But feelings don't come randomly. They come from ignored inner signals. Happiness cannot exist where emotions are suppressed. It grows where emotions are understood. 5. The problem of control. We want certainty, we want guarantees, we want assurance, but life offers none of these. So we try to control people, control outcomes, control timing. And when control fails, fear takes over. But control is not strength, it is fear in disguise. Real strength is adaptability. Real peace is flexibility. Real happiness is surrender. Not weakness, but wisdom. 6. The problem of mental repetition. Pain hurts once. The mind hurts us repeatedly. We replay conversations. We visit regrets. We imagine worst-case futures. And slowly, suffering becomes a habit. Happiness cannot grow in a mind that is constantly traveling to the past or the future. It only lives here, now, in awareness. A gentle truth, let this sink in. Life's challenges don't destroy happiness, our unconscious reactions do. Life is neutral. Events are neutral. Meaning is what we add. And until we learn how to work with the mind, every challenge will feel heavier than it is. Transition. So now we know the problem, not theoretically, but personally. Expectations, comparison, identity, avoidance, control, untrained mind. This is not to blame ourselves. This is to free ourselves. Because once the problem is clear, the solution becomes possible. And the solution is not outside. It is not in changing people. It is not in escaping life. It is in changing the way we relate to life. That is exactly where we go next. We continue, calmly, deeply, and without breaking the emotional thread. This is not about fixing yourself. This is about understanding yourself. Read it slowly. This part is meant to settle the mind. Now that we have seen the problem clearly, the question is not, how do I escape challenges? The real question is, how do I remain steady while facing them? Because challenges will come again. That is not pessimism, that is reality. The solution, therefore, is not to build a life without storms, but to build a boat strong enough to sail through them. And that boat is your inner life. Let us begin gently. 1. The first shift from control to understanding. Most suffering begins with one thought: this should not be happening. But life does not ask for our approval. The moment we say, I accept that this is happening, half the struggle ends. Acceptance is not surrendering your effort, it is surrendering your resistance. When you stop fighting reality, your energy is freed, and that energy can now be used for learning, adapting, responding wisely. Happiness begins the moment you stop arguing with life. 2. Training the mind, not forcing it. The mind is like a child. If you shout at it, it rebels. If you ignore it, it misbehaves. You don't control the mind, you befriend it. Observe your thoughts, don't fight them, don't judge them, just notice. A thought comes, I'm not good enough. Instead of believing it, ask, is this a fact or a feeling? This simple pause creates distance, and in that distance, freedom is born. Happiness grows in awareness, not in perfection. 3. Redefining happiness. Happiness is not excitement, it is peace with movement. It is the ability to smile, even when answers are not clear. It is trusting yourself enough to say, I don't know what will happen, but I know I'll handle it. That confidence does not come from success. It comes from self-trust. And self-trust grows when you survive difficulties. and realize I'm still here. 4. Responding, not reacting. Reaction is automatic. Response is conscious. Life presses a button. Reaction explodes. Response pauses. Between the event and your response, there is a breath. Use it. That breath is power. That breath reminds you, I am not my emotions. I am the observer of my emotions. When emotions are observed, they soften. And happiness becomes possible, even in chaos. 5. Gratitude without denial. Gratitude does not mean pretending everything is okay. It means saying, yes, this hurts, and still something is holding me. Gratitude shifts attention from what is missing to what is supporting you, and that shift changes your inner climate. Happiness is not ignoring pain, it is not letting pain consume everything. 6. Letting go without becoming cold. Letting go is not indifference, it is understanding limits. You stop holding people responsible for fulfilling your emotional needs. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop chasing validation. And suddenly, life feels lighter, not empty, lighter. Happiness breathes easily, where attachment loosens. 7. Meaning over comfort. Comfort makes us lazy. Meaning makes us strong. When life hurts, ask, what is this shaping me into? Pain with meaning becomes purpose. Pain without meaning becomes trauma. Happiness is easier when suffering has direction. 8. Self-compassion. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to heal slowly. Harshness does not build strength. Understanding does. Happiness grows where kindness lives, especially self-kindness. Transition. So now we understand the solution, not as a checklist, but as a way of living. Happiness is no longer something we wait for, it becomes something we practice. But understanding alone is not enough. Wisdom must move, insight must act, clarity must translate into life. So now comes the most important part. What do we do with this understanding? How do we live it? How do we choose happiness? Daily, consciously, courageously. That brings us to the final part of our journey. So now, after everything we have spoken about, after all the understanding, the reflection, the honesty, the question is not, do I agree with this? The real question is, what will I do with this? Because wisdom that stays in the mind becomes information. Wisdom that enters life becomes transformation. Life will not suddenly become easier tomorrow. Challenges will not politely step aside. People will not magically change. But you can, and that is where power lives. From today, start small. Happiness is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in daily decisions. When something goes wrong, pause before reacting. Breathe. Remind yourself, this moment does not define me. When expectations are not met, soften. Ask yourself, was I demanding or understanding? When comparison arises, return to yourself. Your journey does not need to look like anyone else's to be meaningful. When emotions feel heavy, don't escape, sit with them. Listen, they are not enemies, they are messengers. When fear whispers, don't fight it, walk with it. Courage is not absence of fear, it is movement despite fear. Choose your response again and again and again. Some days you will succeed, some days you will forget everything you heard today. That's okay. Happiness is not about being perfect, it is about being persistent. Persistent in awareness, persistent in kindness, persistent in choosing growth over bitterness. Let life test you, but don't let it harden you. Let challenges shape you, but don't let them shrink you. Stay soft, stay awake, stay honest, because the world doesn't need more successful people. It needs more whole people. People who can feel deeply without breaking, people who can stand in uncertainty without collapsing, people who can smile, not because life is easy, but because they are rooted. And remember this, you don't need to fix your entire life to be happy. You only need to be present in this moment. with a little more understanding than yesterday. Happiness is not waiting at the finish line. It is walking with you, right now, when you choose awareness over impulse, gratitude over complaint, and courage over fear. So go back to your life, to your responsibilities, to your challenges. But go back changed. Go back knowing this: life may not always be kind, but you can always be conscious. And that is how happiness survives every challenge. When you walk out of here, nothing outside will announce, "Congratulations, you are now happy." Life will continue exactly as it is. The same responsibilities, the same people, the same uncertainties. And that is where the real test begins. Happiness does not arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly, disguised as a choice you make when nobody is watching. A choice to pause instead of panic. A choice to respond instead of react. A choice to stay kind when it would be easier to become bitter. From this moment onward, promise yourself one thing: you will stop postponing happiness. Stop saying, "I'll be happy when things settle." They will never fully settle. Stop saying, "I'll be happy when I become better." You are allowed to be happy while becoming better. Life is not a rehearsal. This moment is not practice. This is it. So start showing up differently. When the mind starts racing, slow the body down, breathe deeper, walk slower, listen fully. When something breaks inside you, don't rush to fix it. Sit with it, let it speak. Healing begins with listening. When people disappoint you, and they will, don't let disappointment turn into resentment. Resentment poisons only one person. You learn the art of letting go, not angrily, but gracefully. Let go of needing closure from everyone. Let go of needing validation from everywhere. Let go of proving your worth. Your worth was never up for debate. Choose your energy wisely. Not every argument deserves your voice. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every emotion deserves immediate action. Peace is not weakness. Peace is mastery. Some days will still feel heavy. Some mornings you will wake up tired without reason. Some nights your thoughts will be loud. Do not judge those days. They are part of being alive. On those days, be gentle. Lower your expectations. Increase your compassion. Rest without guilt. Happiness is not forcing yourself to be positive. Happiness is allowing yourself to be real. And remember this: you are not behind, you are not late, you are not failing. You are learning how to live with awareness, learning how to love without attachment, learning how to trust without certainty. And learning takes time. So walk patiently, speak kindly, forgive often, especially yourself. If you forget everything else, remember just this one line: life will challenge you, but you don't have to abandon yourself while facing it. Stay with yourself, stand by yourself, believe in your capacity to handle what comes. Because happiness is not something life gives you, it is something you earned a life. And every time you choose consciousness over chaos, understanding over judgment, presence over fear, you choose happiness. Despite life's challenges, again and again and again. That is not philosophy, that is practice, that is not motivation, that is a way of living, and that is enough. Life will go on after this moment. The lights will dim, the noise will return, the world will continue moving at its usual speed. People will go back to their routines, their worries, their responsibilities. And you will go back to your own life, your own challenges, your own unfinished stories. But if you are listening carefully, you will not go back the same, because something subtle has shifted, not outside, inside. You may not be able to explain it in words, but you will feel it in your breath, in your reactions, in the way you pause before responding. And that pause, that tiny moment of awareness, is where everything begins to change. Happiness does not arrive dramatically. It does not knock loudly on the door. It enters quietly, almost unnoticed, when you stop fighting life and start understanding it. You see, most of us exhaust ourselves trying to win against reality. We argue with what has already happened. We replay conversations, we can no longer change. We punish ourselves for not being perfect, not being faster, not being better. And in that constant inner conflict, we lose touch with the present moment, the only place where peace actually lives. So let this be the moment you stop running. Not running away from responsibilities, but running away from yourself. Let this be the moment you decide to arrive fully, honestly, imperfectly into your own life. You do not need to have everything figured out to be at peace. You only need to trust that you are capable of handling what comes next. That trust is not arrogance, it is humility. Humility that says, I don't control life, but I can choose how I meet it. And when you meet life with awareness instead of resistance, something beautiful happens. Challenges still come, but they don't shatter you. Pain still appears, but it doesn't define you. Uncertainty still exists, but it no longer terrifies you. Because you are no longer outsourcing your happiness to outcomes. You are no longer saying, I'll be okay when this ends. You are saying, I'll be okay even while this unfolds. That is emotional maturity. That is inner freedom. Some days will still feel heavy. There will be mornings when motivation is low and clarity feels distant. There will be days when you do everything right, yet things still don't work out. Do not let those days convince you that your effort is meaningless. Growth is invisible while it is happening. Just like roots grow in silence before the tree ever shows strength. Trust the unseen work. Trust that every time you choose patience over panic, you are becoming stronger. Every time you choose kindness over bitterness, you are becoming lighter. Every time you choose understanding over judgment, you are becoming freer. Happiness is not about controlling emotions. It is about creating space for them. Space to feel sadness without drowning in it. Space to feel joy without clinging to it. Space to feel anger without letting it poison you. When emotions are allowed to move, they heal. When they are suppressed, they stay. So stop telling yourself you must always be strong. Strength is not the absence of emotion. Strength is the ability to stay present with emotion. And presence changes everything. Presence turns pain into wisdom. Presence turns fear into awareness. Presence turns ordinary moments into grounding anchors. When you eat, eat. When you listen, listen. When you rest, rest. Without guilt. Life is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to be more conscious. Conscious of how you speak to yourself. Conscious of how quickly you judge. Conscious of how often you forget your own humanity. Be careful with your inner dialogue. The voice you speak to yourself with will eventually become the voice you live by. Replace harshness with honesty. Replace criticism with curiosity. Replace pressure with patience. You were never meant to live life as a race. You were meant to live it as a journey. And journeys have slow days. Be aligned. Let go of the need to explain yourself to everyone. Let go of the need to fix everyone's perception of you. Let go of the burden of carrying expectations that were never yours to begin with. Your energy is precious. Spend it where it nourishes you. Choose relationships that allow you to be human, not perfect. Choose environments that encourage growth, not fear. Choose habits that build clarity, not escape. And above all, choose yourself again and again. Not selfishly, but sincerely. Be, because when you abandon yourself to please the world, happiness disappears. But when you stand by yourself with integrity, happiness finds you naturally. There will come a time when you look back at the challenges you once feared and you will realize they did not ruin you. They refined you. They slowed you down when you needed reflection. They humbled you when ego was growing too loud. They strengthened you in ways comfort never could. And you will feel gratitude, not because it was easy, but because it was meaningful. That is the kind of gratitude that changes a person. So don't rush life, don't rush healing, don't rush clarity. Let understanding arrive in its own time. Every conscious breath you take is progress. Every moment you choose awareness is growth. Every time you respond with compassion, you are choosing happiness, quietly, courageously, deeply. And that choice will not always feel dramatic. Often it will feel simple, but simple does not mean weak. Simple means true. So, as you step back into your life, remember this: you are allowed to be happy even while healing. You are allowed to smile even while figuring things out. You are allowed to rest even while dreaming big. Happiness is not the reward at the end of struggle, it is the strength you carry through the struggle. And every time life challenges you, every time uncertainty rises, every time fear whispers, return to this understanding. You are not here to defeat life, you are here to dance with it, with awareness, with courage, with compassion. That is how happiness stays, even when life is challenging, and that is enough.